From life-changing concussions to a fighter losing his life, here's why power slap contestants could die if they continue in this sport. Is it possible for a slap competition to end a fighter's life? According to experts, the answer is simple. Absolutely! Neuroscientist Chris Nowinski says, "You could be certain that somebody with enough training could kill people on a regular basis with enough practice." Yikes! But what exactly are slap competitions? And why are they so dangerous? Did you know that slap competitions originated in Eastern Europe? We've all seen the occasional viral video of some huge Russian guy getting taken out by a wide-open hand slap. And the worst part of it is, the guy seems to be taking the slap voluntarily. No defense, no flinching. The Nevada State Athletic Commission has officially licensed the sport, and the rules are simple. 1. The person getting slapped must have their hands behind their back.
You're going to be striking first. We're going to get you this. You're going to hold this behind your back here. If you hear, tell me what hand, and then.
And 2. The person slapping has to aim above the chin and below the eyes. The second rule seems hard to follow, because a lot of these guys have huge hands. The fight goes on for 3 rounds, which means 3 slaps for each competitor. At the end, judges decide the winner. But not surprisingly, most of these fights end in a knockout. Fighters have 30 seconds to slap, and if they go down and can't make it back up, they're out. Of course, they also have the option to throw in the towel whenever they want. So, what do you say? Would you do it? Personally, I think twice before entering a power slap competition. We've already seen some scary images coming out of this sport. People have taken some really ugly KOs in slap competitions. And it's only getting started. The biggest organization in the world so far is the Slap Fighting Championship, or SFC. The promotion started in Poland, and you might be familiar with them and have probably seen their videos, with Logan Paul as an announcer and Arnold Schwarzenegger giving great slapping insight. Imagine getting a slap from Arnold. Ouch! The SFC's been really successful in Eastern Europe, so it's no surprise that the top guys at the UFC have decided to bring it to the USA. I'm talking about Dana White and his billionaire pal, Lorenzo Fertitta. When White and Fertitta bought the UFC back in 2001, they had to face a lot of the same criticism as they're facing now with the Power Slap League. White and Fertitta believe they can fight the controversy again and make slap competitions the next big thing. But what's their secret? Well, in true American fashion, they've made a reality show out of it, the Power Slap League. That's right, the guys who slap each other actually live and train together. I suppose the idea of people just slapping each other could get boring after a while. So the obvious solution was to record them having breakfast together and show the whole country on TBS. Love Island doesn't stand a chance against these lunatics. Not surprisingly, a lot of people aren't happy that this is now legal and on TV. But why are people so worried? Maybe they think kids will stop playing ball and start slapping each other in the schoolyard. That's a scary prospect. So, how has Dana White responded to the criticism? For the most part, he simply compares slapping to other sports. In his opinion, boxing is actually more dangerous than slapping. His argument is that power slap fighters will only get slapped 3 to 5 times. On the other hand, boxers can take a few hundred punches in a single fight. Dana says, "If you don't like it, then don't watch it."
Fighters in boxing take 300 to 400 punches a fight. And guess what? You know what my answer to that is? If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Exactly. Nobody's asking you to watch this. You're disgusted by it? Watch The Voice.
Yeah, watch.
Typical Dana, I suppose. But damn, at least boxers get to defend themselves, and they have gloves. Unless we're talking about bare-knuckle boxing. But that's a whole other video. Back to the slaps. Even fighters admit the sport is insanely dangerous. But according to pro slapper Jules Scott, it's the same as any other combat sport. Scott says, "I'm kind of thinking along the same lines, with a thought in the front of my mind that I may get killed here, or I may die here. I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to not only survive, but win and be victorious. Crazy! Fighters in other combat sports disagree. Boxer Ryan Garcia says the Power Slap League is a horrible idea and needs to stop. And Garcia knows a thing or two about getting hit in the head. Of course, Jules Scott disagrees with Garcia and says he'd like to slap his ass. Another power slapper, Chris Thomas, has a message for Garcia as well. Thomas says, "Shame on Ryan Garcia. Other than that, I don't really care what anybody thinks. We aren't forcing anybody to do anything, so they can either f off or they can join us." It's clear that Chris Thomas and Jules Scott don't believe the slaps are dangerous. Scott says there's not many injuries that go on, there's not many guys with CTE. There's nothing proven harmful about all this in all the years of previous existence. There's not many injuries because the system of commission and doctors and assistants that the UFC provides. But do the experts agree with Scott's opinion? No, they don't. A lot of brain doctors refuse to support combat sports. However, power slapping makes doctors especially worried. Dr. Rosmi Barrios points out that the head and the face are very sensitive areas, and that slaps could lead to traumatic brain injuries. But it doesn't end there. She says it could also lead to hearing damage and sight loss. Scary. Have you ever been a slapper with cotton in their ears? That's because a slap in the face can actually make your eardrum burst. Man, that's terrifying. Neuroscientist Chris Nowinski is very critical of slap competitions. He spoke about 2 viral KOs that might change your opinion about this sport. One was when fighter Courtney Olsen got such a bad slap that she actually rolled over when she tried to stand back up. That's the stuff of nightmares. The other girl actually started crying when she saw what she had done. The other fight was when Chris Thomas knocked out Chris Kennedy. Kennedy went into a strange position on the ground that creeped out everyone who was watching. But what does Nowinski have to say about these knockouts? Nowinski says, "Where the man has the fencing posture and the woman who did the forward roll, they both suffered traumatic brain injuries." Nowinski even goes on to say that everybody can be one concussion away from being a different person for the rest of their life. A brain injury could cause psychosis, memory loss, and have all sorts of terrifying consequences. Experts agree that a person could even die from one of these slaps. But has this actually happened in a slap competition? Sadly, the answer is yes. Artur Valzak died in 2021 as a result of his injuries in a slap contest. Walzak received a horrific slap, fell to the ground, was taken to a hospital, but it was too late. After a month in a coma, Artur Valzak passed away. So it's no joke. This sport is insanely dangerous. It might be a good idea to consider these things if you're considering a career in power slapping. And that's how power slap contestants could die if they continue in this sport.